You feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
Well, I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Packernet After Dark. This is the call-in show, the Packernet Podcast Network. If you'd like to call in, if you'd like to participate in the show, please feel free to do so. The phone number here is 608-501-0718. New callers go directly to the front of the line. We don't have any new callers today, but we've got, who do we got here? Ron from Eau Claire, what's going on?
So, Brian, Ron calling from Eau Claire. That was a very satisfying win. I really think that was the win that we needed to see to feel better about our team. I don't care that the 49ers had a few key players out. I don't care that Nick Bosa was out. I don't care that Brock Purdy was out, because the Packers basically played complementary football, and yeah, they got a little lucky on a couple of dropped interceptions that Jordan Love threw, but they got lucky too. We had a couple of dropped interceptions that we should have gotten as well. So I think all in all, it was a very, very satisfying game. Josh Jacobs is the man, ultimately the MVP of that game. But the defense playing much more solid than they have in past seasons, I mean, that's worth a lot in and of itself. The fact that they didn't let them score a bunch of garbage time points like they often have in the past.
That's true.
Or let it get really close and then win it by 3.
Yep.
Just great to finally blow a team out and get a high margin of victory, and pad the stats for our team a little bit. So maybe, maybe people will start thinking of the Green Bay Packers more as contenders, including us as fans. So here we go. Off to the next game. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you too. I think there's a lot of actually really good, insightful thoughts there. Number one, I had made the point that this is not the team that has turned the corner yet. And what you said almost sounded like a contradiction, but I don't think that it was, because what you said was this is the win that the team needed, and I think you're right. This is the win that maybe the team needed to become the team that they need to be, if that makes any sense. They needed it for their own confidence, because I'm sure they understand the mistakes that they made. But I think there's also a psychological thing that happens, especially when you feel like this is something you can't overcome, the 49ers. And you overcome it in that fashion, you break the curse that decisively, maybe now it's time that they start believing. Screw whether we believe. What matters is whether the team believes. And I think there's probably a few guys that were a little hesitant that are starting to believe after that. So we'll see. I don't know. But I think that that's a good point, that I think those types of games are important, if for nothing else, for the culture. It's also a good point in terms of how you get to that, because number one, again, we can't say that the score result was because of the injuries, because we saw the 49ers keep the game kind of close. We saw them stop us. We saw them drive against us, right? It very easily could have been a loss. There was a point in time where it started to feel like maybe it was going to be, because we couldn't move the ball, and it might have been a brief window, but there was a time it got a little scary there. But that didn't persist. And unlike in other games, rather than having something that works and then either taking your foot off the gas or letting them adjust so that you can't do it anymore, and then not being able to figure it out so you can't score more points, or whether it's because the defense wasn't able to make adjustments or whatever the case may be, the general course of things is that teams, even if we run up a score early, they generally crawl back or claw their way back slowly but surely. And whether they end up winning, usually not. But That didn't happen in this game. We didn't let it happen in this game. Guys made plays. The team made plays. And you can say, well, they got bailed out by turnovers. Yeah, but those turnovers needed to be made. Lucas Van Ness needed to be in that position to be able to punch that ball out. Keyshawn Nixon needed to hustle down the field and punch that ball, which is, by the way, something, you say, well, Hafley didn't scheme that. But Hafley coaches that, doesn't he? These are the fruits of the work that they've put in, whether it's been all season as a coach or whether it was Keyshawn on that play. So they earned every point on that board. This is not just some fluky thing where the quarterback just, throws a backward pass and the wide receiver drops it and we go grab it and is like, well, that was just a whatever, or a botched snap or something that is just pure luck. Even McKinney, that's being in the right place, which he very often is. He's always just standing, lurking in the right areas. And then, to be honest, that's not an easy catch. You know how I know? Because the receiver couldn't catch it. That thing was coming in hot. And then for McKinney, the ball ends up getting tipped. He didn't have a lot of time to adjust to it, but he ended up making the catch and returning that. And if you don't believe me that it's that easy, look at Quay. How many times in the past have we seen, that used to be the standard. Guys like Quay dropping interceptions. I felt like we dropped 2-1 for how many we caught. Jair couldn't catch any of them, and none of these guys could frickin' catch. None of this is just a gimme. None of this was just handed to them. You still have to go get it. And again, you have to convert. You don't get to almost 40 points unless you convert in the red zone, and we did. So that's where I said, for every negative that you can point to and say, I wish this was better and I wish we were starting to see improvement here, I think there's a lot of areas you can say they did improve. And I think, honestly, one of the biggest ones, there is a high degree of correlation between how good this team is and how good they are in the red zone. I pointed to that in 2020. Best offense in football, best red zone offense in football. In 2022, I don't know about 2021, but 2022, I think they were terrible in the red zone, and the offense was terrible. And it's not that hard to figure out why. The question is, are you scoring? Your ability to move the ball between the 20s, the only benefit to that is to get you inside the 20s so that you can score points. But if you can't actually do anything in the red zone, or as Tom Brady and a bunch of people are starting to call it, the red area, why are we doing that? Can we not do that? Is that a Patriots thing, or is that a new thing that's starting to come up? I feel like I've heard that a couple times now, and I'm getting super annoyed by it. Can we just all agree that it's the red zone? If you want to call it the gold zone, I guess go ahead. I don't really care because that's just a unique little thing over there, It's a funny little inside joke among mostly Packers fans. Jets fans, screw you. You don't get to play that game. But red area? What are we doing, Tom?
Daddy! Well, I said Heathbar was going to do something this season. He scored a touchdown that made it 38 instead of 31, so I don't know if that's the game-changing play that I thought, but kind of cool to see him get one in and then kind of roll around the field, the stadium. That guy's juice, man. And good on the defense and good on them all for, Jordan only throwing for whatever he did. He wasn't terrible. He really wasn't. But all around, man, that's kind of the win that I was hoping that we'd get. We can feel comfortable about it. Just good all around. They didn't get to 41. Got to 38, pretty close. But, all right, time to drink brown liquor and really enjoy the evening. Nice work, everybody.
Yeah, and listen, we only got a couple days till we got to turn around. So no point spending any of those days whining about stuff. Feel good, man. Feels good. Sit back, kick back, relax. For the couple days you're going to be able to do that. And then we got to start looking at the Miami Dolphins. Hello. Okay, let's try that again. Pac-Man Jersey Jim, you there this time?
Sorry, y'all had some technical difficulties.
Oh, okay, we're good.
Y'all listen to this, all right?
So I can't hear what that. what that is.
The Packers fans. Yeah. Yeah, the Niners fans give us a whack. All right, let's go Packers. Let's go, baby. Hey.
Well, Pac-Man Jersey Jim, I'm sorry we couldn't partake in that song. We can, I could kind of hear something, and maybe something was about to happen, but this was a little over a minute long. I didn't really want to have everybody sit and listen to whatever you were trying to get through to us. But I'm glad you're having a good time. I'm glad you're feeling real good. That's what's important. Let's see what Pac-Man Jersey Jim has for us this time.
Being I don't know when this is going to air, this is Pac-Man.
Hey.
I got a little story for you guys.
All right, let's do it.
Little story about Thanksgiving.
Oh, boy.
I'm very thankful for the Dallas Cowgirls. I'm very thankful for our team. And I'm very thankful, even though we were making fun of them the whole goddamn week, the Chicago Bears. Because if it wasn't for the Chicago Bears in 1985, when I was an 8-year-old boy, looking how ridiculous the Super Bowl shuffle was, I would have never hated him as much as I ever did anything in my life. That thing was so goofy. The Super Bowl shuffle, I mean, come on. Corny as hell, right?
Sure.
Anyways, luckily, I had a friend in my neighborhood who was a Packers fan, and his grandfather was a diehard World War II Army veteran who loved the Pats. So obviously I found that kid, and I followed him and his grandfather. Many memories since. So yeah, even this Thanksgiving, I'm giving thanks to the Bears because you are so bleed gay. Peace.
Oh, boy. I don't know what to do here. I look, great story. I don't know what the hell happened, but I appreciate that. Super Bowl shuffle sucks though, that's for sure. Why don't we just take a break? Let's take a break. Let's reset. Let's come back and see what Kyle has for us.
Hey, Kyle from Madison. I'm sitting here just watching ESPN. And as a fellow Kyle, it brings me even extra special satisfaction to watch Kyle Shanahan be really upset at the podium. And he has a lot to be upset about. I tell you, with some of the frustrating games we've had this year, it's kind of nice to see another team implode in that department for once. And my goodness, did San Francisco implode with their penalties? That was unbelievable. And then conversely, I thought the Packers had pretty clean, offense. Just weren't able to achieve or execute the final 10% of a lot of things they wanted to do. I thought that's what it seemed. Interesting experience though this game today, just with all the different circumstances and the history. Yet there was just a weird energy to it in my experience anyway. Just with, maybe with Purdy being out, something about it was kind of a little bit off, but I thought the Packers were more physical, actually. Probably in a noticeable way for the first time this year. Maybe I'm off. Maybe it's recency bias. But, listening to Love at the end of the game, or at the post game, he wasn't shy about making sure he communicated that, that he didn't care. Basically, that they had injuries for the Niners. They wanted this game. And every player, even Jacobs, who wasn't on the team last year, mentioned it. So clearly they wanted San Francisco today. It was just cool to see them, even if they weren't able to execute everything that they were hoping to today. Nice to see them come out and play clean, especially on offense, and take advantage of some stuff that we've been so close to getting in the last couple of games. So let this victory over the Niners settle in, I wish it would have buried the Niners more, like I said, but overall, though, this is a nice one, and it feels good to have crammed the ball down their throat like that. So couldn't happen to a nicer team. We'll talk to you.
Yeah, it felt really good. And, you know, the if it makes you feel any better, the funny thing is they still messed up and should have scored more. You know, the Christian Watson touchdown, that was 7. We should have kicked the field goal instead of going for it on 4th. That's 10 more points. Quay Walker should have had a pick. Who knows what that all does to it? Maybe without mistakes, we're at 50 points. So, I mean, when you look at it from that perspective, we scored 38 points while leaving points on the board. I mean, 10 easy. 10 easy. That's not a difficult field goal, and that's a walk-in touchdown. So, I don't know what happens with the Quay thing, but at the very least, there's 10 points that you can directly put on very simple, you can call it mistakes if you want. Christian was certainly a mistake. But then on terms of whether they should have gone for it or kicked the field goal, whatever, doesn't matter. It's 10 points, so feels good, man. Just take solace. We beat the crap out of them, and we kind of took it easy on them at the same time.
Hey, Ryan, Steve up in Alaska.
Hey.
Been a little while since I called in. Had a lot of personal stuff going on. I had to do some traveling and had a hernia operation I had to deal with and some other yada yada, life and all. So, but I've been listening. Don't think I haven't been listening. I just haven't had the time or the gumption to call in. Plus, they haven't been showing any of the stinking games up here. Every time they go to say they're going to show one, they put some other game on, or they don't put anything on, or they put the stupid Seahawks on because Alaska, we get Seattle feed, so there's competition between whether the Packers or Seahawks are going to show. It's always the stupid Seahawks. But calling in because, we won today, and it was a serious butt whipping. We put a good thumping on the Niners there, so I'm hoping this takes care of your angry fandom for a while. You've been sounding a little like those crappy Bears and Cowboys fans that you like to put on when we laugh at the enemy. And you kind of been crying a little bit, and we need to get
if I say things that are negative, I'm crying and whining too much. If I say things positive, I'm a jinx. What the hell do you guys want from me? What do you want? Should I be negative so that I jinx them in the positive, like I did with Quay? You're welcome. Like I did with Van Ness? You're welcome. Like I did with Bullard? You're welcome. Or should I praise people like Christian Watson, and then when they drop a pass, have 40 people attack me on social media, my own damn show? What do you want from me, Steven?
You over that. So I hope this game gets you over that. Numbers don't matter. Again, we won, and we won big, so whatever the numbers you come up with, they'll be what they are. I just know that the eye test says that we thumped on a team, and I think we've been playing like a team that can win all season long because we've won way more than we've lost. So, yeah, man, I hope the team gets itself together. We got this short week coming up. We got this Miami game. Luckily, it's up at our house, but Miami's been playing well. Tua has been on a tear, so we'll see what happens with that. But, 2 more wins, and we should have ourselves a playoff berth. And, I called for a 10-win season myself, so we'll see if I was right or not. Anything above win-wise, what I said is always bonus. But I'm going to go back to chilling out here. I'm only a little over a week out of my little operation thing, so I still got little crampy pains here and there. I'm going to go chill out a little bit, maybe play some solitaire and finish watching a movie, and I'm going to go read a book and go to bed. So, all right, man, do your thing this week. Hopefully it's all positive and smiles. All right, go Pack, go.
No, I agree. I'm looking forward to tomorrow praising some players, and I'm sure I'm going to get crapped on for that, for jinxing them, because Quay is going to fall apart and everything else is going to be terrible, and it's going to be, see, you jinxed it. I'm also going to be talking bad about some players, which of course is whining, so I can't win, Steve. I don't know what the hell you people want from me. I don't. It is kind of funny because the negative fans are super pissed when you're positive, and then the positive fans get super pissed when you're negative. Whatever. It just is what it is. Here's the thing. From now on, here's a request. Call and do whatever you want. Here's a request. don't call in and tell me what you think about my perceived happiness, bootlicking, anger, crabby, whiny, whatever. Leave all that crap out of it. If I say something that's inaccurate, tell me what it is. How about that? Okay, am I wrong about any of this? Was I wrong about Christian Watson? I know I jinxed him. Fine. Screw you. I don't care. If I say that Jordan Love played bad, am I wrong? You can call me whiny, cry, complainy, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter. Am I wrong? No. Shut up. How about that? How about that, Beard Cheese Benny?
Good morning! Packernet Podcast! Happy Victory Monday!
What's up?
Sitting in my car, waiting for this thing to warm up a little bit. Not too cold here in South Carolina, but 47 degrees, you know. It gets a little chilly with the wind here, okay? Leave me alone about it, all right? I know I'm soft now that I moved to South Carolina.
I envy you. I want to be
anyways,
soft.
Dude, I freaking loved that pass that Jordan Love had to Malik Heath at the end of the game. I just love that LaFleur just stepped on their throats. He just said, I don't care, man. You guys freaking eliminate us? Oh, well, we're going to beat the living shit out of you. Another thing I want to say is I am so tired of the excuses from everybody saying, well, you know, the Packers only won because they didn't have Brock Purdy and Nick Bosa. It's like, okay, dude, listen.
Look, maybe I'm whatever. That only works if you win by like 3. Okay, let's call it 7. If you win, again, what did Vegas say? They said the Packers have about a 6.5 point advantage. If they win, let's call it by 6.5, even though I think they were still favorites when before we knew that all these guys are going to be injured. But whatever, let's say that they weren't. If they win within 6.5, let's just call it 7. If they win within 7, you can complain and say, well, maybe, probably, kind of, sort of, possibly, we would have won if we'd have had these guys in. Great. Did we lose by 6 or 4 or 2 or 1.5? I don't think so. So shut up.
Like, you can only play who's in front of you, right? And I saw an awesome thing from Keyshawn Nixon. He said, I don't want to hear excuses. It's the NFL. Like, we won 3 games with our backup quarterback. Like, so maybe they should have came to play. And he's totally right, man. It was just ridiculous. But overall, dude, in this game, I thought that a lot of our guys, especially defensively, like, you know, Gary, Van Ness, I guess. I mean, like, for the most part, he still can't like contain the edge and like do basic things. I don't know, or just I don't know. Quay Walker had 2 tackles for a loss. He should have had an interception. Overall, I thought a lot of guys stepped up, man, for real. And I'm still concerned about our corner room, though. And we're gonna D-line's really gonna have to start stepping it up if Dyer's out. And then, like, LaFleur, dude, he just called a great game plan, man. Like, it's like they knew what the Niners were going to do. And Jordan Love just, you know, he took what the defense gave him, man. He didn't try to be special. And I also wish Watson would have caught that, man. That would have been game over pretty much right there if Watson catches that right before the half. Because it would have been 24-7 at half instead of whatever it was. 17-7, so I'm gonna have to call back in right after this because I gotta gather my thoughts here. It's freaking Monday morning, baby.
Yeah, the Watson thing stings for sure, but again, made up for it in other ways. For every big play we miss, there were 3, 4, 5 that we hit on.
All right, anyways, as I was saying, or as I was talking and forgot what the hell I was gonna say, I need to gather my thoughts. This was the first game, Ryan, I feel like this year, where the Packers did what they were supposed to do against the team that was in front of them. You know, like there was a couple other games, maybe like, I guess when Willis, like, went in against, like, the Colts and, well, not even really then. Like,
just, you know, like this is what was supposed to happen, or like what we wanted to happen, and like what in our minds we thought could happen, but then like we also like usually go back to reality. We're like, no, they're probably going to keep it closer than it should be. But they actually just freaking stomped on them. It was amazing, man. Like, I really enjoyed that, dude. And I tell you what, man, our corners are going to have to step it up. We're playing the Dolphins. They got Waddle and Hill. I mean, it's going to be freaking hard. Things have got to be much better. I thought they did a relatively good job. Thanksgiving should be good. Fox still owes Jordan Love that turkey leg, so let's win the freaking game, and maybe they'll have his turkey leg this time. That would be awesome. But looking forward to hearing the podcast this week, Ryan. Go Pack, go.
I'm guessing they're going to have callback on that. They may not, but I hope that they remember, because if they remember, then absolutely there's going to, just give the guy a whole turkey, you know what I mean? We got to make it right. We got to make it right. We'll have a Jordan Love turkey, and then we'll just have, another turkey. We'll have 7 turkeys, because the whole thing was like, well, they only make one, and then the host ate it, and like, well, that's not true. Listen, just make like 7 of them. It ain't that big of a deal. Where they cost like $12. They're not that expensive. I don't know why I don't make more turkey, because it's super freaking cheap. But and don't even give me that, because it doesn't taste good. Why do people hate turkey so much? I don't really get it. I guess I never really realized how much people hate turkey. Like, for the record, deli turkey is hot garbage. I'll never eat it. It's the worst. But like an actual bird that's cooked, you get the big, like for Thanksgiving, you slice it off. They got a little thin piece of skin on there and put some gravy on it with some mashed potato. You telling me that's a problem? What's wrong with you people? I don't understand, bro. I don't get it.
Oh, dude, one more thing really quickly.
What's up?
So like during the game, I was talking to my buddies. Don't worry, they're not Bears or Lions fans this time.
All right.
I got better friends than that. They're Packer fans. McManus lines up for that 51-yarder, and, I got Packer kicker PTSD. So I'm just, like, sitting there like, oh, God, no, he's got to line up for a 51-yarder. What's going to happen? And then he kicks it, he makes it, and I tell my buddies, I'm like, hey, isn't it nice that we have a kicker that can actually make those? Like, man, like, we can actually put points on the board when we fail and, like, we're that far out, So that was great, and I love that. But yeah, I don't know what else to say, man. Go Pack, go! Everybody enjoy your Victory Monday. Make sure you stay hydrated. Drink the high quality H2O. Go Pack, go!
Yeah, I don't know. I feel really comfortable with him. I haven't had that much, maybe too much comfort. I feel like this is. It sounds stupid, but I feel almost more comfortable than with Mason. Mason would line up for a 51. Not that I didn't trust him, but, those are 50-50 at best. And you look at those, and it's like, come on, Mason, you can do this. Like, in my heart, I'm thinking there's like a 33% chance. I'm trying to pump myself up. Like, come on, dude, you got this. McManus, I saw his 51. I'm like, he'll be all right. Like, I don't know why. I just have no fear with the guy. It's a very weird thing with him, but he has been a very clutch kicker. I almost thought he missed it. Especially those 51-yarders are tough, because they kind of hang in the air for a long time, and you got that straight-on look, and you're just waiting for it to hook one way or another. And sometimes it's already to the left, and it starts drifting to the left, and you're thinking, oh, that's going to miss real wide. And then it just stops and just keeps going right down that line. It's like, I don't know what kind of wizardry is going on here, but we're making it, so sweet. But no, I'm feeling real good about our guys. I feel good about the punter, the kicker, the returners. Jaden Reed is not the greatest, but he gets the job done. So now I know there's going to be some kind of a special teams disaster, and it's going to be my fault. Freaking whatever.
Ryan, I'm just so sick of this crap, dude. So sick of this crap where people are saying, oh, they had Brian Allen, and they didn't have Bosa. Oh, like, they couldn't do it. Because
and the Lions and the Vikings played the Jaguars without Trevor Lawrence. So what?
They didn't have their players. Okay, then what does that say about their team then? Then that means they suck without, like, a couple players.
Yeah, they got
like,
two
come
good
on,
players.
Man. I understand they're really good and crap, but, like, what does that say about their team, dude? That's just they suck. We played games without Jair. Still, defense has gotten it done. We've done all this crap. I'm just so sick of it, man. It's just so telling of your team, 49ers, that you guys just aren't good without 2 players, 3 players. Like, it's the NFL, dude. I know I already talked about this, but I'm, like, honestly, it's starting to really bother me, man. Like, every time the Packers win and have, a big win, it's never, oh, good job, Packers, you guys did a good job. It's always, well, this, that, and the other. It's never, dude, we never get the credit, man. I'm so sick of it, dude. Like, okay, they still have McCaffrey, Debo, Kittle. They still had all those offensive weapons, and you saw that they could make plays, too, right? So Shanahan just didn't have his team freaking ready. I'm sorry, you got outcoached, you freaking dummy. And about time LaFleur beat up on one of his friends. I remember one time he said, you hate to beat up on your friends, and then he would never beat up on his friends. Like, he'd always take it easy on them. And this time he said, fuck you. Sorry for cussing. He said, screw you. I'm going to beat the living crap out of you, dude. We're not doing this anymore. This is not what this Packers team is anymore. We beat the crap out of you, and we don't care what your excuse is. So, yeah, freaking leave me alone about it. But next week, or I guess this week.
Well, and that's what I said was going to happen. I mean, it's more from the standpoint of Packer fans, but obviously outside of that is going to be the same thing. No matter what, it's going to be, well, they didn't really earn it. But again, especially coming from Bears, Lions, Vikings fans, it doesn't mean anything. They've been doing the same thing. The Vikings and the Lions have been beat up on garbage, injured garbage the entire season. So I don't want to hear it. And again, beyond that, it's and I've to be consistent, to show my consistency, I've said the same thing about the Lions. You can't trash them for beating a terrible team when they win by 30. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's just dishonest nonsense.
We can't have any excuses. Let's just ball out, man. And honestly, dude, I'm sick of the Lions glazing. I know I messaged you already about this. They were comparing them to the greatest show on turf. I'm like, okay, well, that's got to be kind of ridiculous, out of, like, just kind of not really true. And also, I think we can still win the division, dude. I think we need some help, but we need the Lions to lose, and then we need to beat the Lions. We also need to beat the Dolphins. It'd be sweet if we won the division. It would be actually kind of hilarious. See ya, go back home.
Yeah, that's well within our... Listen, all 3 teams are very close. Everybody's acting like, oh, the Lions got it locked up. Not really. The thing is, we all have to play each other. That's the point. The Packers and the Vikings and the Lions and the Bears and some other teams, we all have to play each other. That's what's going to sort out the division. If the Packers want to win the division, not that it's entirely in our we can only beat them once. It's not going to do it if they beat everybody else. But there's still plenty of time for this stuff to get sorted out. And the big question is, when the heck are the Lions going to play a team worth a damn? I mean, listen, credit where credit's due for actually winning, because that is a big part of it. You have to actually beat the bad teams. But the Rams suck. The Bucks beat them. The Cardinals, I guess, are pretty good right now, but they won by within 1 score. They did blow out the Seahawks. The Cowboys are terrible. The Vikings, they barely beat. The Titans are terrible. The Packers played terrible. The Texans played god-awful, and they won by 3. The Jaguars are terrible. The Colts are terrible. They're playing the Bears this week. That might even be one of the toughest tests they've had if the Bears can just play consistent football. I don't think they're going to beat the Lions. But then it's Packers-Lions, and that's our opportunity to actually show that we can do it. Guess what's after that? Bills-Lions. Good luck with that. Guess what's after that? Bears again. Again, can the Bears hang on and actually show anything? What's after that? 49ers-Lions. Good chance you're going to have Bosa, Purdy, and some of these guys back at that point. Then you got Vikings-Lions. I mean, if this is a dominant team, they could run the table. But, again, I think the Bears, the version of the Bears that played the Packers and the Vikings could potentially put up a fight against the Lions. Maybe not a very good one, but it's probably better than what you're going to get from a lot of these other teams. The Packers, and again, are we better than the Lions? Probably not. When we played them, we lost by 10, which is relatively convincing, but that was a god-awful performance. If the Packers can just play a pretty clean game, even the one that they played just this past week against the 49ers, which is certainly not their best, but it was decent enough, I don't know that doesn't make up 10 points. Just by, number one, taking away all the massive amount of mistakes we made in that Lions game and then adding on a significantly better run game and stuff like that, whatever else, the offensive line, I think it's possible, depending on, maybe it's a better Lions team too. I don't freaking know. But I think there are several potential losses here. I think the Vikings can beat them. I think the 49ers can beat them. I think the Bills can beat them. I think the Packers could beat them. And again, if the Bears, and I'm kind of hoping for the Bears' demise, to be honest with you. I don't like the fact that the Bears are starting to figure it out. I had said that, when you change coordinators, you get like a game or two, and then it starts to drift. I'm hoping for one more game, and then they start to fall off. I need them to beat the Lions. I do. I do not want a very talented, very competitive Bears team. I was rooting for the Bears this past week, but by the end, I was so happy that Caleb started looking bad because he was looking real good in the beginning, and it was super pissing me off. I do not want to deal with a elite Caleb Williams in the division. But yeah, it's going to get tough, and it's tough for the Packers too. The Packers might be looking at a bunch of losses coming up here. I don't know. This is where you really got to buckle down. This is where you got to put on your chin strap. The Packers and the Vikings and the Lions did an elite job of beating all the bad teams that they went up against. They all did it. Congratulations. We are the best third-place team in the history of the NFL. But who wins the division is going to come down to who survives the gauntlet the best, when the NFC North just smashes into each other over and over and over again. And it's going to be tough for everybody, but it's only the toughest. This is like a real playoff gauntlet, which is great because all three teams are probably getting to the playoffs no matter what, unless one just gets absolutely, if the Packers lose to the Bears and the Lions and the Vikings and Miami, and maybe we don't make it. But assuming all three teams get through, you want to talk about some battle-tested teams. Holy crap. The Vikings, the Lions, and the Packers have just gone through an absolute slugfest. So you're right. We don't know who's going to win the division. It looks like the Lions right now. That's the most likely. Second most likely would be the Vikings, and then the third most likely would be the Packers for obvious reasons. But again, it all just comes down to who's going to win. If we can beat the Lions and the Vikings, all bets are off. 100%. But it starts with Miami. So that's what we got to focus on right now. Lions got another relatively easy matchup against the Bears. Vikings play the Cardinals. I'm not too in tune with the Cardinals these days and what they're up to, but I feel like that's somewhat of a challenge. Same goes for the Falcons. I don't 100% know, but that's somewhat of a challenge. Face the Bears again, which is kind of a game again. Seattle, Packers probably in the category, and then the Lions after that. So it's not bad teams, right? They barely beat the Bears. They beat the Titans, who are trash, the Jaguars with no quarterback, and they only won that by 4 points, by the way. Colts, who are terrible, Rams, who are bad, lost to the Lions. Actually, they lost to the Rams. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, the Vikings, man, they might get messed up here. If the Bears are about as good of a team as they can beat, they may lose to the Cardinals and Falcons, and we'll see what happens with the Bears, and lose to Seattle. Packers take them down. Lions take them down. We'll see. We'll see what they end up with. But again, that's the point of what I'm saying. At the end here, we're going to find out who's for real and who's not, and who's just beating up on bad teams. And what that means for the Packers is this is right now when you need to start being that team. It should have started this past week. Maybe it did start this past week, depending on what your opinion of the 49ers team is. Because like you said, so is it just three players and then everybody else sucks, or are they a good team kind of throughout, like a really well-coached team who has really good players? They just happen to have some really elite players. I'm guessing people, if they're being honest, would say that it's much bigger than just Bosa and Trent and Brock. But anyways, let's take a break. We got A.A. Ron from Eau Claire on the other side.
What's up, A.A. Ron from Eau Claire?
Sure.
That was a great win yesterday. It's Monday morning. Let's see. I am kind of baffled at some of the negativity, although I know that there are definitely concerning things, but that's always the case. I don't care who you are as a team. There's always going to be this nagging feeling that those couple of things that didn't go exactly perfect are going to come back to haunt you. I don't care if you're the most dominant team in the league. I'm sure the Lions are. I'm sure there's fans that are looking at some of those games going, well, if this one play goes a different way or whatever, maybe they're just so enthralled with having a winning season that they're overlooking some of that stuff. But as Packer fans, I think what's really at play here, in my opinion, is that we've had such a long stretch of winning football, going back to 30 years. And we are more experienced at the varying types of wins. Whereas some of the other teams, if they have a winning season, they're just like jacked up. But we're like, yeah, we've seen that you could be like really, really jacked up about your team, and then, their weaknesses come back to bite them. Look at 2011. I think we have this backlog of experiences. 2011, they're the best offense in the league with their defenses, porous. And then they get to the playoffs and their offense has a bad day, and they lose to the Giants. 2014, they're looking amazing, and then all of their gaffes that led to the Seahawks winning the NFC Championship game came to haunt them. And we've seen this over and over and over again. They're looking like a great team. They're looking like a Super Bowl pick. And then, they get to the playoffs, and that fatal flaw kind of comes back to unravel them. So I think as fans, that's what we're kind of dealing with here. We're just we've been in the game looking for that next level of a team for long enough that we're tired of, okay, great, we got a winning season. Okay, good, we snuck by a couple of wins. We're at the point of experience as fans where we can start going, yeah, well, this is gonna come back to bite us in the playoffs. So I guess it makes sense. One sec.
Let's get to part two, but just to jump in here, you're probably right, and maybe there does need to be a reorientation of our mind. You mentioned 2011. It's kind of interesting because I don't remember. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't remember being super negative about 2011. And there was plenty of reason to be because our defense kind of sucked. I mean, it just felt like every game was 42-35. But maybe it's because we're Packer fans and we're used to winning with quarterbacks and wide receivers and good offensive lines and no run game and no defense. And, sometimes special teams, right? We got a good kicker. Punters usually sucked. Jake Frost. Was it Jake Frost? Whatever. But I think we dealt with it because it's like that's what we do. Like we're going to beat the crap out of you because offense is beating the crap out of people, and that's what we want to do. And maybe we have to reorient our thinking to, we have as many wins as we do for a reason. What's that reason? Maybe it's because we have 3 phases instead of just one. And so you don't have to be perfect at quarterback, which is, again, it's scary and it's sad because I would want that, and I'm not seeing it. But you don't have to be perfect at quarterback. You don't need Devontae at wide receiver because we have enough complementary things. It's kind of like the whole wide receiver one thing. We don't have a wide receiver one, but we have so many twos that we're okay. And, we don't have Aaron Rodgers style play right now. We don't have that level of play right now. But we have a really, really good run game. We also have a defense that, whatever you want to say about it, has been great at takeaways. We have a coach that's very good at navigating these things and finding out how to take whatever it is we have and scrape together some kind of a win. So, we're winning. That's the goal. Maybe we don't understand how the winning is happening, but it is happening, and maybe we should trust that whatever it is that they're doing, despite the problems, to continue winning, they'll continue doing. Maybe. I don't know. Why not?
All right. Finish off my thought here. So I think we're just experienced enough as fans with having teams that are good enough to get just inches away from the big game, and yet time after time have not quite made it over the hump, that we're just kind of hedging ourselves against that pain, which is fair. I think that's okay. But I do want to just enjoy the win, and they certainly needed that. And you know what I will say is, psychologically, I wonder how that having a game where you don't turn the ball over could help Jordan Love in this offense. I know that they had a couple turnover-worthy plays that, really should have been picked, but they weren't. And we've broken the streak. So now I wonder if some of that luck starts going our way with those turnovers. And, so we'll see. I'm super glad that we get a Packers game on Thanksgiving. There's nothing like having a day where you got nothing else going on and a Packers game to enjoy without any pressure of work the next day.
Yeah. It is exciting, man. I mean, it's nice because, first of all, waiting for games sucks. Like, it's just freaking brutal. But the fact that you got 3 games, you have football all day, and you got family, and you got food, and you got all this stuff going on, so you don't really have to worry about it too much. You can kind of take your mind off of that. It's a fun day. It's a really cool thing. Maybe the afternoon slot would have been better. I don't know. Who else plays? I don't even remember. It's a game that I don't think I care about. Is it the Chiefs or something? I don't know. Who cares?
Family around and all that stuff. With regards to the Dolphins, they have a lot of speed.
Yes.
They have a very speedy, crafty offense.
Yep.
I think that's the number one concern. I think they're beatable on defense, but
keep in mind, we're coming from the same coaching tree, right? You got the Rams, you got the 49ers, and you got the Packers, and you got the Dolphins, right? With what's his name, the freaking weirdo over there. So I'm hopeful that whatever it is we were able to execute well against the 49ers, we'll be able to execute well against Miami. And also, keep in mind, Saleh is there, and I really do think, if nothing else, he can be insightful with this scheme because this is what he grew up in. Not that he's necessarily, he has his own defensive scheme, but he's been working against the Shanahan offense forever. And maybe we underestimate how much he helped us against the 49ers in this game. When they practice, what do they practice against? Kyle Shanahan's offense, right? If there's anything he knows, it's Kyle Shanahan's offense, which is, to some degree, Matt LaFleur's offense, which is Miami Douche's offense over there. So hopefully, and Matt LaFleur obviously understands it as well too because it's his thing, but hopefully he understands and can help really break down what it is they do there offensively as well as defensively. And I don't know, be able to get themselves a little bit of a win over there.
I think it's going to be, the tallest task is going to be, slowing down, and I think they're going to make some plays. I think they're going to.
By the way, I think it's I saw somebody said it was going to be like 20 degrees or something. So I don't know. I mean, if here's another thing. Let me just look real quick. If it's bad weather, that works to our advantage massively. I mean, they have speed on the ground as well, but bad weather is a terrible environment to try to chuck the ball down the field. Even wind. If it's cold and windy, you don't want to push the ball down the field. Those are running environments. All right, so it's looking like Thursday night, 18 degrees, 13-mile-an-hour winds. I don't know exactly at what speed of wind it really starts to be like we need to put this ball on the ground. But I mean, it's a little bit, it's something. And it's just cold, man. That's the other thing. As a quarterback, I got to imagine that it's really, I remember Aaron Rodgers talking about that that you have to kind of learn to play in certain environments. You know, the way you hold the ball, the way you move in the pocket, the way you scramble, the way you throw, everything's different in wind, in cold, in rain, in snow, and you have to learn to do it. And I just think it's a different environment. Not to say Tua can't throw a 50-yard bomb in the cold, but I'm just hoping that the weather benefits the Packers enough that this really is just the bigger, tougher team that's going to smash, because nobody likes getting hit in 20 degrees, dude. And you start getting Tucker Kraft and Josh Jacobs smashing into you in the cold. Oh, that sucks, man. That does not feel good.
Create some explosive plays, and the question is, can we stop them enough to slow them down? That's really, that to me, that's the main hope. I think time of possession is going to be big, and that's why I think with Josh Jacobs, if you're going to lean on him and extend your drives and limit the number of times that the offense for the Dolphins are out there, I think that's your game plan. If I'm coming up with it, try to limit the amount of time that offense is on the field. So, anyways, love to know your thoughts.
No, I think that's dang it. I think that's kind of in line with what I'm thinking. I mean, this is a control the ball, grind, smash mouth football style of game, and I mean it's up to you to dictate that. You know what I mean? It's up to you to make sure that they play your style of game. Force them to do that same kind of deal. And then you got to execute, right? You have to actually be able to run the ball. You have to actually be able to stop them running the ball. I'll look closer into it, but my recollection, they've got really fast running backs, but these are not big power guys. And so if you're able to come down and start smacking that guy, he ain't gonna like it too much. But I think that's. I mean, what the heck do we know? But from my perspective, I think we're about on the same page. Just force them to play your style of football. Force them. Because they're not built that way. They're built to be fast. So if you play the fast game, you play the high flying, exchanging 40-yard. Remember that game? Was it Packers Colts game with Peyton Manning and Aaron Rodgers? I think it was. Maybe it was even Brett. I don't know, but where they were just trading like 40-yard touchdown bombs, just crazy. Point is, you don't want to play that game against Miami. You probably can, but I don't want to. The other thing that's going to happen with the cold, our guys are probably going to have drop issues. Let's play just a classic West Coast style offense. Run the ball, play laterally, and be ready to make them pay if they decide they want to push the ball down the field. Anyways, I'm going to get out of here. Appreciate all your thoughts and comments and all that. You guys have a good rest of your day. I'll talk to you tonight, tomorrow, whatever. Have a good one. Bye-bye.